Hello, Star Lovelies. It's a great time to be a soul. Today we're talking about...
Hey there, we're here to talk about April and creating order out of chaos. Here's the thing. Saturn is the star of the show in April and May, and that doesn't feel great because Saturn is the guy who's going to make you do things that you may not want to do. Like, think about it when you're like having fun and you're like, oh, I really should do my homework, or you're sitting around and you're looking at like the crap that's all over your house and you're like, oh, I really should pick that up. Saturn is the one who helps you get up and go pick those things up, or, kind of get back to work, right? So he's not the fun and games guy. He's not the energy that you're like, oh my God, I feel so good. It's so supportive. It's so light and fluffy. It's not that. He feels heavy. He feels definitely stern. Sometimes he feels kind of mean. And so, yay, here we are. Yay, happy April. And all of a sudden I'm telling you that Aries is front and center, not for his big, huge blast into Aries itself, which happens the third week of May, but he's starting to really stir. He's reminding us of the times through 2021 and 2022 when we were really wrangling with what it meant to be in this new energy when we couldn't even identify that it was a new energy, right? Like, we were kind of one foot in the past, one foot in the future. And that's exactly what his energy is when he's with Uranus. And that happens on the 4th of April. He is in a very exciting, stimulating, inspiring, igniting, motivating energy with Uranus. He happens to still be in Pisces all through April. He doesn't do anything other than be in Pisces in April. And so that's an extension of what's been going on with these retrogrades and with the sun in Pisces up until that equinox time, which was the third week of March. But then we've had Mercury and Venus in the sign of Pisces going back and forth. So it's been very much about endings and beginnings, about the past and the future. And we've been toggling between the few. And for those of you who have been following me for a while, I've been talking about this new energy, and we have a new era, and it's the new world, and it's the new earth, and whatever language I've been using, and how exciting but yet uncharted it is, and how filled with possibilities it is, and yet we can't figure out our way out of a paper bag. And so that's all still true too. However, this month feels more cinched in. This month doesn't feel like that freaking free fall we've been in, or that, oh my God, we're so effing stuck. We can't we can't even get anything done. March has been interminable. It is the last full month that we have of this drag, this incompletion, this being stuck, this being an energy that isn't really for our best interest. And so it's not that things can't happen. People have been doing things. People go on trips. People, socialize with friends on the personal side. People have been doing business together. People have signed deals, and they have gotten new clients. It just hasn't been in that robust, normal, cyclic fashion. And we can say it's because everything's new. Even if we don't think of anything in the intuitive or the spiritual realm, just with AI, things have changed. Just with the way searches happen, with the way that people are working, with the callback and the not callback, and you can be remote, you can't be remote, and all those changings and all those shifting times. That's a very practical look at the unpredictability of this new energy. Saturn brings that all into focus. Saturn says, you know what? Don't worry about that. You still have things that are in your foundation. You still have your skills and your accomplishments and your achievements. You still are the same person. Just because things out there are changing, don't worry, you're still here. What kind of structure can we build? What kind of things can we do? What are those connections that would be really helpful? So Saturn's not all of an ass. Saturn is really amazing. He just doesn't feel good. Now, Uranus, who feels a little bit more enticing, he feels a little bit more exciting. He feels a little bit like, hey, at least with him, and it's just going to come and whack you in the face. But don't worry, because then he leaves because he's off doing something else. That lightning bolt of energy comes, zoom, and then he goes. And yet, yes, Uranus always has your best interest at heart, but it takes a while to figure out what it was. You look back on it and you say, oh, well, you know what? I'm really glad that my car broke down because then I wasn't going to be doing XYZ. And then therefore I would have met someone who was a bad character. And then, sure. But when your car breaks down, you're like, are you freaking kidding me right now? My car just broke down. So I'm saying that because these two energies are plentiful. It's the way we start the month, even though we still have these retrogrades from Mercury that does not end until the 7th of April and Venus, which doesn't end until the 12th of April. Yes, but these other energies, number one, they've been in the central cast of characters very recently, only a few years ago. And number two, they're just big and bold and big. And when they're together, they're next to each other in the universe. They know exactly what is happening between the two of them, and Chiron is right in between the two of them. And so there's just a lot that goes on when they start interacting. The other thing that we have when I'm going to continue talking about the planets in the month of April we have Aries points. Now, Aries points are something that are just another way to look at the energies that happen in the sky. And I've said this before, there are 90 million of them. So we could sit here and I could talk from now until we're all 400 and I'd still be talking about new things in the stars. So yay, it's the gift that keeps on giving. However, sometimes it's like, wait, what is she talking about? She's introducing something new. I will only introduce something new when it matters. I'm not just going to introduce something new because it might be new to you. Remember, I'm not teaching astrology. That's not my deal. I am interpreting the stars for you so you can use this energy for your own life and business. That's my gig. So Aries points are when the 0 point of a planet, which means that a planet is just entering the sign. Honestly, no big deal. We have an Aries point every single March equinox. We just do. That's when the sun enters Aries. So every single year. Happens to be a big deal because Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. Aries is an ignition. Aries is a divine spark. Aries is the start of something new. And because we are in such this new energy, and quite frankly, because Neptune has just gone into Aries for the first time in our lifetime on the 30th of March, and Saturn is going into Aries on the 24th of May, he was there, but it was 30 years ago. So it's been a hot minute since we've had this energy in any big way. And so the way that Venus and Mercury, remember I always say that the stars give you a window before they give you a door. Mercury and Venus have been wrangling between Pisces and Aries and Pisces and Aries. So they had two Aries points already earlier this year, and now they have their second ones. That's not always typical. And so again, if we didn't have Neptune, if we didn't have Saturn, honestly, Mercury did this last year. And I was like, I'm not talking about Aries points because yes, but it's Wednesday. This is like, oh yeah, it's still Wednesday, but we've got all this other stuff to talk about. And here's the window. Mercury has an Aries point on the 16th of April, and then Venus has an Aries point on the 30th of April. So Aries is starting to really stir. And for the first 3 weeks of the month, we've got Aries with the sun, right? So the sun's in Aries. Again, it's that new, it's the new season, it's the new era, it's the new energy, it's the new way, everything is unfamiliar. The good news about Aries doesn't care. Aries is like, no kidding, it's the new era. No kidding, everything's new. Have you met me? I am the new person. Like, I am the new. If you dance in my energy, you'll be like, of course it's new. And you always want things to be new. And of course you do. And so my daughter's an Aries, and it's amazing when things are new, they have this freshness to her. It's like they have a value 100 times more than something that's not new. And that's very different than a lot of people. So Aries loves that. What else is going on? We have a final, thank Jesus, right? Like we have a final energy with that Mars and Pluto opposition that we have been dealing with since the beginning of November. Again, that new moon in that November timeframe, I talked about it threading the needle. I had I don't like to use the word warned, but I had warned people that we were going to have 6 months of this. I had said it was going to be too long. I had said it was going to be just a slog to go through. I had urged every single one of my clients and anybody who was listening to take that whole first quarter of this year and just use it to optimize and streamline and galvanize and fortify and really get your footing so that when we get to this changing quarter of Q2 and we get to the back half of the year, that is just a luge of movement, then we'll be positioned appropriately. But it has been too long. I mean, honestly, it's just been too long. And so here we are at the top of this month where we have all this Aries energy. So we have more momentum. We have more we have more impatience, certainly. And we're just like, okay, let's get moving. Like even listen to my voice, I'm talking faster and all the things. Let's get moving is the key. And yes, it's not like Mars and Pluto don't want us to move, especially Mars is now finally out of his retrograde period. It's been since the end of February, the 23rd, that we've been out of that. But he just went back into Leo a few weeks ago. Now here he is, and he's in that tension point of pressurized power again with Pluto. And this is where we must look at what's going on personally and what's going on in the world. And we see and feel and just want to react to every single thing that's happening. And we don't have any tolerance for anything that we don't agree with. This is the first time we're in this energy because this is the 3-pack. We went through one at the top of November, the next one at the top of January, and now here it is, the final one. I cannot wait to get rid of this energy. And we're back in that Leo with Mars and that Aquarius with Pluto. And that is, how are things working for us personally? How are we showing up? How are we being seen? How are we being heard? How are we being known? Well, we're not, because everything's still retrograde. By the time we get to this period at the end of April, it won't be, though. And so that really matters, how we're showing up personally versus what the bleep is going on in the world. And we can't unsee anything anymore. So anybody who wants to dive for cover, any way you want to kick the can down the road, any relief you want to just step off and have a moment, you got to plan for it now. You don't just get it just because everybody else is kind of relaxing. You don't get it because you just felt like you wanted to watch Netflix for 3 hours. You don't get it because you've been scrolling on your phone and you kind of lost the sense of time and 45 minutes or 90 minutes have gone by. The world now is moving. Whereas before, it could have been swept up in that too. You could have seen like, oh, this post just had 27 comments and great, I am in good company. Now it's like you look around and everybody's doing something and you're not. Uh-oh. And that's the energy. This is why Saturn is actually to our benefit this month. We can rail against it a little bit. We can be like pouty face and kind of cross our hands. We can be big crying baby heads. And yet it's not going to do any good because Aries is no joke and Saturn is no joke and Uranus is no joke. And here we are. That's why I'm talking about creating order out of chaos. Things are going to feel like, and it doesn't have to be like big chaos. Like I'm not saying that it's like Henny Penny, the sky's falling in and all these things are going to become evident. I'm saying that there are things that you can't unsee anymore about yourself, about other people, about personal things, about professional things, about business, about people that you're in a group with, about, situations that you set up, about your offerings, about the way sales have gone, about the government, about geopolitical things, about the weather, it's every single thing. Everywhere you turn, it's like a magnifying glass is on it. Yay! Happy, happy, happy April. We do have some soul destiny stirring on that 3rd week of April too, on the 21st. That is really good for your intuition and developing routines. So that's the thing. Saturn is so incredibly helpful. I've been calling this retrograde season my Virgo season. I've just been calling it like the state of well-being, knowing that this has been coming up. And so I wanted to get financially situated if there was anything to clean up. I wanted to get physically situated if there's anything to clean up, etc. Like emotionally, mentally, spiritually, business-wise, like everything. I've been on like the cleanup on aisle 7 has been my mantra. And yet I know, even though I'm not psyched about it, I know that these revelations that are coming doing, I'm still going to get some too. Even though I think I've looked under every single cover and opened up every single pocket. Hey, hello. The universe is always surprising. And so you can have that attitude like, I wonder, that's the card of the month. It's in a state of wonder. I wonder what's going to happen. And I'm going to utilize that beautiful, energetic motion of that fiery motion of Aries. And I'm going to use that stature and that structure and that fortification of Saturn to the nth degree this month. And that's what I am telling everybody. And I'm just looking at this month of just put every single thing that you can in order because it's going to benefit you by a mile. And so that's where we can say, okay, April doesn't suck. April is filled with opportunity because even though not every single person I expect was going to sign, or even though right after the retrogrades I didn't have like the automatic uptick I was expecting, things are starting to move now. Things are starting to come together. I can see the connections more readily. It seems like people are in that forward movement with me. It doesn't seem like I'm out of sync with that. That feels great. And then when you look and you say, okay, maybe there were some things that you didn't see, or there were some things that you left undone, use this energy to roll up your sleeves and dive right in. Best way to make it through this month. And so that's what I'm just talking about with April. The other thing is you still have motion for ideas and creativity because it's a fiery energy. So that feels really good too. You might all of a sudden say to yourself, wait a minute, I've been doing things in this way and it seemed like it was really great, but wow, I didn't even think about it with this different perspective. That's an eye opener too. And that's awesome. So not every eye opening is going to feel abrupt, and not every eye opening is going to feel like, oh crap, I wish it wasn't like that. A lot of eye openings are going to be like, wow, I didn't even think about it that way. This is way better. And you can start out every single day to your betterment if you ask yourself, a key question for me is, what if it were easy? What else is possible? How am I magic today? What can I find in joy? And some things that are new for me, new-ish, only a year or two, is like, how am I satisfied? How can I have more pleasure in this, even though, like, talk to me about technology. And that's where I'm almost like a mantra. I can find this pleasurable. This will be fine. It will be set up and it will be great. Sure. Yep. Hopefully I can talk myself into that. And that seems kind of crazy, but yet things come together better that way. So there aren't any other, we've got a full moon, we've got a new moon as always. There's changes coming, and then there's a beautiful building foundation for that April 27th new moon. And again, there's not any other star energies I want to talk about. Love to talk about the beautiful magical tools that help you. Oracle cards give you that sense of choice. How do I want to open my mind? In this case, it is a mental activity, and it's opening your mind to imagine and dream. It's in that state of wonder, which is a 3 card, which is in that wholeness of that full expression of the divine masculine and feminine. So you can set aside a few minutes every day and just say, I wonder how this could be easier. I wonder how this could give me relief. I wonder how it could be more abundant. I wonder how it could be more freeing. Whatever it is that you're looking to create in your life, you can ask it in that question. Interesting spirit animal. And I looked, I've never had the spirit animal come in before, and it was the bat. And the bat is that all-seeing. Think about it. They have senses all over their body. They have like little antennas, and they can see and sense. They can sense how far away they are. They can sense on how close they want to get to something. They can go in the direction at all times. They can definitely always be that course correction, right? So I'm combining this energy with Saturn. And so if you're wondering, well, wait a minute, am I going in the right direction? Call on Bat to help you and have that energy come in. It will be great because, again, our eyes are wide open. We have all these antennas out because Neptune has just moved into Aries. And also we've got this, but wait a minute, we want to be using our intuition, so maybe we are, quote unquote, blind as a bat and we don't really see things clearly, but how can we open up our antennas and open up our senses to be able to do that? Call on Bat because Bat energy will help you. The gorgeous crystal that came in was citrine. It's a manifestation stone. It's known as the prosperity stone for merchants. This is beautiful. It's a very creative stone. It magnifies and it brings blessings and it helps with wishes. It really clears your mind. It's a harmonizer with relationship and it opens up channels for you. It can provide many solutions. I mean, if you own one crystal, citrine would be the crystal to own, especially as a business owner. Also, citrine calms because it clarifies so much. So, yeah, have it in your money bowls. Honestly, you can't have enough citrine. You could fill yourself up with citrine. It would be awesome. The flower essence that came in is wild oat, and I adore this. This doesn't come in very often either. And it's great to get you aligned with your vocation. And so that means your calling, your purpose. And so if you're feeling like you don't know which direction that you want to go in, wild oat is a great flower essence. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it at Whole Foods. You can get it at your health food store. You can get it as any part of a store that sells Bach. It's BACH flower remedies. And flower essences are to give you that vibratory support that come from plants or from trees. And so what they do is they give you that energy that you wouldn't normally get. Think about it. We don't live out in nature as much as we did before, or these plants may not just be in your backyard. So you don't have access to the energy. And all of a sudden the flower essence will give you that energy. And wild oat is great because it helps with that Aryan energy too, because sometimes it can be too brash and too impatient infusing. And so wild oat is a good stabilizer. It makes you kind of stitch things. This is really great for intuitive visionaries, of which I am one. Intuitive visionaries will take 5 leaps forward and not even look back to see if anybody's following them. But with wild oat, it makes you take those 2 steps forward and then kind of 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Not because you're being fraught with obstacles, but because you want to make sure that you are taking the right steps and you don't want to waste energy. That's another thing that wild oat is really good about. Now, this leads in beautifully to your signature, which helps you recognize how you make decisions, how you respond to situations, how you're tracking against your soul mission. And if you haven't taken that 12-question quiz yet, go to your starmaptosuccess.com, go ahead and find out what one of the 6 signatures that you are, and then you can come back and you can get your monthly forecast for April. I will tell you, you're also going to get lots of information in those emails. You're going to get things about your leadership. You're going to get things about a great fun tip. You're going to get suggestions on how you can utilize resources that are the most helpful to you. You're going to even get your money imprint. So there's a lot of information there, all value. I think I do position, something about if you want to come into my world, but it's really soft email process. So again, Saturn, right? Saturn is, how do I show up? How do I use this information? And if I don't know how to use it, what questions do I ask to make sure that I am using it the way it would benefit me the most? Perfect Saturn energy. And so for you, wise strategist, I've mirrored these with the information from March too. So information from March was all about opening you to your intuition. And so we're talking about decisions this month. I did it in my Rich and Powerful Leaders Academy last month, where how you make decisions. I've written an article. I'm going to be doing a podcast. I'm doing a lot of information for you because decision making is difficult when things are so uncertain or you feel overwhelmed. I mean, it's difficult on any day of the week, just with how many you have. But once you parse them out and you realize you're not making that many big decisions, right now we have a lot of big decisions to make just because things are so unknown. So that's why I want to go through this. And so what I've done is I've stitched back and said, well, from an intuitive perspective, how do we then open to our intuition more? I did that all through March. So you can go through, I have a beautiful Soul Whispers playlist that we'll put in the show notes for you. You get lots of information about that just in case you missed it. But here, what I've done is I've said, yes, I recognize that the energy is moving forward and it feels more practical because it's Saturn, but yet we don't want to forget, especially with that Saturnian soul destiny relationship we have coming up on the 21st. I want to be able to, again, stitch this all through. And so for the wise strategist, you are a sage. And a sage wants to open up to their heart and they want to feel things from a sensory perspective. And when you do, it's not like you're not going to sharpen your mind, But you're going to do that as well as develop a stronger relationship with your instinct. And when you do, that helps you step into your power. And when you are in your power, wise strategist, you are an incredible leader. And you love to have your thoughts out there. So we can combine that to be a thought leader. And this will position you for that back half of the year. Intuitive visionary, you know what? You're an oracle. You have downloads of ideas and innovations. Now, whether you like to do that around people and connecting people or ideas themselves and around, weaving patterns and putting, offerings together and things like that, either way is perfect. However, you can flow with this month, but you're going to be swept up a tiny bit, even though Saturn's here. You're going to want to avoid him because you don't want to be pinned down because you've been pinned down for too long. But I do want to tell you that when you work with a solution set that the Uranus Saturn connection is going to give you, then you're going to be able to open up your channels and have people flood in the back half of the year. And I used flood in intuitive visionary because that's what it's going to be like for you. Now, collaborative explorer, you actually normally have your antennas, facing outward. So you're a natural sensor. So you can assess how things are working or not working, especially between people without even really thinking about it. It's a superpower of yours, but it's too much. It's too much right now because things are kind of, again, with that chaos. So you want to be able to choose how you want to show up because you're not going to want to show up to everything because it's not going to be worth it for you. Don't get swept up in other people's nonsense or their drama. Be slow and steady and work on yourself. And I always do this and I do it in a line, like you just take your steps forward. And quite frankly, I think you're not going to show up to a few places this month, and I think it's going to benefit you. Ruling warrior, step into your intuitive gifts. You are a leader, and leaders are desperately needed. Most people are afraid. They don't like change. It's too chaotic. It's too unknown. You show up and you are in the right place and the right time. And when you do it with an open heart, you develop those relationships. And so those people will be followers or clients or power partners with you from now until forever. Creative superstar, you're a mystic, but you don't really identify with that. But think about it. You just pluck ideas from the sky. You just create things out of thin air, and you do it because you're so magical. So when you really own that and you allow your curiosity and your seekerness of like, gee, I wonder how that works, or I wonder what this could be made into, that is really beneficial for you. And so right now, you, just like the collaborative explorer, things can be a little bit uncertain and you can feel overwhelmed. Don't let it. Look on the bright side of things, not to be Susie Sunshine, but to just know that things are coming together for you. And I'm not going to ask you to be patient because that's going to be ridiculous to say that for April, but go with the flow. Find a flow that works for you. Loving alchemist, you're a magician. You can spin gold out of thin air. And so you're the solution set person this month. Anything that you're having a problem with, anything that's not working for you, I would throw it out to the universe and I would ask, what is the solution set here? And it will come to you, and it will come to you beautifully. And so for everybody, April is really good to put things in place, and there is forward movement and there is opportunity here, but it's going to feel like it has its ups and downs, and it's still going to feel uncertain. So just allow yourself to be clear in what it is you're looking for, and whether that is looking immediately in front of you or looking a little bit longer term, whatever works for you, just let it work for you because you want to create order out of that chaos. So please subscribe, rate, review, listen on your favorite player. Listen to those playlists that I have. or go to your star strategy, which is right on my website. It happens to be kimwoods.com/forecast, and you will get automatic updates. You can bookmark that page, and you can get your weekly, your monthly, you can get the big star shifts, you can get the reels that are coming out, you can get the new playlist information. There's an abundance series, an intuition series, which is going to include some decision making, and you can get things by your own signature, and it's all there. It's a hub for you that you can have. So instead of going around and trying to look for things, it's going to be coming to you. And I'm super excited about that. So happy April. We have made it through the retrogrades. We are so close. And I, for one, am thrilled. So thank you for listening. And thank you for being you. And happy soul tidings until next time.
Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for more ways to use the stars strategically to align with your soul purpose, reclaim your power, and increase your prosperity. Please rate and review your favorite episodes, and remember to check out my website at kimwoods.com for my latest forecasts, articles, and offerings. To find out your intuitive success signature, take my 12-question Do You Know, Like, and Trust Yourself quiz and find out how you're living your stars at yourstarmaptosuccess.com. I've so enjoyed our time together, as it's filled with the power of the stars plus strategy to clear the pathway to your success. Until next time, happy soul tidings.